The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Oh, yeah. That's
Taking on my Invisalign.
Is that how you start every...
No, it's not. That was a first. I don't know why I did that when you're here. Hi, guys. Here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. I'm Nikki Glaser. It is Wednesday. Andrew Collin is not in studio, but because I am on trying to do as much of a vocal rest as I can, this is a 1 hour a day that I really let myself talk. I am bringing in guests to help support that and just to have some freaking fun. And Andrew's not here today, so filling in for him in studio is from The Courtney Show, which you can listen to anywhere you get podcasts. You can also listen to it on 106.5 The Arch if you live in St. Louis. He is the co-host of that show. He's also the co-creator and co-EP of the show Not Safe with Nikki Glaser. And he's also my lover.
Yeah, the co-creator of this relationship.
Lover. Yeah, you have EP credit on this relationship as well. It's Chris Convy, everyone.
I get residuals. It's great.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hey, it's Chris Convy. He's here, and joining us from Arizona is, of course, Noah. Hi, Noah. Hi. And then joining us from New York City, where she is currently holed up, which is an arape that we have determined. If you're just now hearing that word for the first time, which I know Chris Convy is because he kind of went, home? We've coined a new thing in addition to ke.
Yeah.
We have also coined the word arape, which is a fancy French way of saying ear rape, which is like a thing that someone says that you just go like, ugh. And it's just like
So you didn't ask for it. You didn't want it. And it's
and
just...
now it's just penetrated your ears and it's like in you and you...
So is it
and you have to
gross
keep
or offensive
you have to
or
keep
both?
the baby it gave you because you live in America now. And even though it was forced on you, you have to keep that fucking thought in your head.
What was the arape?
The original arape.
Okay.
The original arape
Taylor-
for me was nom
Yes.
nom. I just kept hearing my adult friends saying nom and nom nom, and I was like, I did not
or write it on
consent to
Instagram?
hearing. It was like 10 years ago. I remember first seeing nom, or maybe even
Yeah,
15.
noms were big back then.
And I hate when adults infantilize themselves. So I remember
My favorite one that Anya
nom
gave an
nom is
example
ear
of
rape.
Is it?
the-
I was today years old when I learned this.
I kind of like that one. I mean, I know it's like when I first heard it, I was like, that's good. But you're right. It's like now it's overused.
Yeah, everybody's using
But
it.
that the first time I saw it, I was like, that's clever. Much like last night we were watching F-Boy Island and I was telling Chris he was asking me about the mega dates on F-Boy Island, which are these 24-hour dates that the girls have at the very end with the two guys that are in their final two. If you haven't watched F-Boy Island, at the very end, each girl has two guys in their final two. They have to decide between which one, and they go on mega dates, which is just a dumb thing that we called it. And they're 24-hour dates, and and my friend Hala on our group chat asked, she was like, are these dates back to back? Like, is there any rest in between? Or are these girls, what did she say in the chat, Anya? It was so funny. She was like, do they have time to like dump out or something? Like, it wasn't about like, it wasn't too much.
Or something.
It was like, there was some funny way that she said it. Anyway, it is true. Those dates are stacked. There isn't a break in between. It's like, maybe they like have a couple hours or something, but it's like the next day they wake up in bed or wherever they did with the guy. And then they
go out
get
with the
dressed
other guy.
and they go out with then they go to the house and meet the other guy. So we were talking about it yesterday, and I told Chris that last season, which he has not seen, and I didn't even watch, I don't think, the finale of last season, but I remember distinctly new Jared telling Casey was the second date of CJ's, and he asked Casey, yo, how'd my dick taste last night? And that was the first time I had ever heard someone say that. And I remember being like, that's pretty clever and disgusting, but clever for a guy like that isn't really that funny on the show. I mean, he was charming, whatever, but he wasn't like, I thought it was a good line. And Chris last night told me, because I was like, Chris, this disgusting thing happened. This guy said this thing. It's kind of funny. And he was like, oh, that's a line. Guys say that.
I mean, I've probably heard that since I was 15.
And that's so funny.
Guys say that.
That's the difference between men and women. Like that's locker room talk without making it a Trumpy thing. That's like a thing that exists in male circles that you guys are not. It's not bleeding out in front of women ever.
Because why would you ever hear that?
There's certain things that you just now that I have like male friends who are not trying to like fuck me, and it's just like comfortable, and there's they talk around me like there's no incentive to hold anything back around me. You get these little slices of male life that you're like, I did not know men talked like this.
Yeah, there's a
Locker
little
room.
bit of locker room is.
I hate that it's connotated with Trump now.
Yeah, it is kind of, and it's also like misogynistic, and there's some other things
It's
that are pretty,
rappy.
there's some gross stuff about it, but there is another world of like how guys are actually just talking around each other when it's just guys, and like I went to an all guys school, and there is a sort of another level of it isn't like weird and gross like locker room talk, but it's just like when guys are hanging out all day, every day together like that.
You guys talk about your feelings.
We talk about
You guys
it.
really share about what you're going through.
Yeah. Anya, are there any like guy things that you've discovered recently that you didn't know before that you'd be like, how did I, in all my years, how did I not know that guys did this sort of thing regularly?
I just couldn't believe when I first went on tour with a bunch of guys in a van. I couldn't believe how much they fucking talked. I was like, these guys talk forever about nothing. It was nothing. Like, how do you talk for 7 hours without ever saying one interesting thing about
Are
your
you talking about
feelings?
like, is it about like, because they're talking about Star
Sports?
Wars or sports or
yeah, like movies,
anime.
sports,
Les
so
Paul's.
much shit. It
that
was wild
new-
to me, and I was envious because I hate small talk and I don't know how to do it, and I always cut right to the chase, too deep to the chase with strangers.
Yeah.
And I would love to know how to make small talk. So I was kind of studying them, but by the end of the tour, I was still just as lost as I was in the beginning. I was just shocked that like never in 7 hours would anyone ever get around to like relationship talk or I'm bummed about this or that. It was just like, oh yeah, bro, have you seen this? just that for 7 hours.
Is there any
Yeah.
space for the idea that the guys communicate those things in different ways at all? Like,
No, there's space for the fact that men's brains are different and you don't need, and your hormones are different. Like, you don't need as much. You guys definitely need more emotional connections than you're getting because I just see I think men are just culturally starved of that stuff because it's gay if you guys like ever cry or anything or, whatever it is. But I think that you definitely need it less than we do.
yeah, probably. I remember a book I read in high school, book
Men are
brag.
from Mars.
No,
The Giver.
no,
Sophomore
no,
year.
No, it's called Lords of Discipline, and it's about like guys that are going to like a military academy, and they've been off for the summer and they hadn't seen each other in 3 months or 4 months or whatever it is, and they get back to school and with their old roommates, their best friends, and one guy was like, "Hey man, good to see you. Really really missed you," and then the main character talked to the other guy in the same room, and the other guy's like, "Hey douchebag, hoped I wouldn't have to see you again this year," and then the author said, "But." Both guys said the same thing.
Right.
So it's like both guys were communicating, love you, missed you,
Well,
but it was in their own
Yes.
ways. And that landed on the main character.
One of the most an example of this that I witnessed, and I may have talked about it on the podcast, but I don't think I did. When I had my birthday party this year that Chris EP'd, it was at a karaoke bar or like a bar in St. Louis, but it was this karaoke room. It was so much fun. And the whole time, like, everyone's singing, having a good time. Chris is kind of like more managing the room. Like, you're making sure everyone's having a good time. You haven't sung yet. You're like just hanging back. Then at one point, probably 3/4 of the way through, we've all sung. And then Matt, my brother-in-law, and you decide to sing Weezer, the Sweater Song. Or no, Say It Ain't.
I think it might have been Say It Ain't
Say It
So.
Ain't So. It was Say It Ain't So. And they both went to all boys, like Christian, not Christian. Yours was
Catholic.
yours? Catholic.
His was
yes.
Jesuit. Mine was Benedictine.
Okay, yeah. Yours was monks, and his was
My monks
Jesuits?
Jesuits, yeah.
Jesus. I don't even know. I don't know what any of it means, but they had this performance of this song that looked as if they were taught it at some point, like almost like the electric slide.
What did your dad say?
My dad turned to me and goes, "Did they plan this?" He goes, "What is happening right now?" It was homoerotic in the funniest way, but they both like Chris would like hold the microphone like he was peeing, and then Matt would bend down and sing into it, and then Matt would do the same thing and Chris would sing into it, and there was no hesitation. There was no like, I'm gonna do this, follow along. It was as if you guys were speaking this like, it was so funny That was the point of it. I mean, it was you guys
was
were
fun.
performing. It was for us, but it was so funny. But I couldn't believe it because it was just like you guys didn't even talk. I mean, you maybe talked a little bit throughout the night. Barely,
we'd barely.
But it was this
talk.
unspoken thing. You both just grabbed the mic and knew exactly what was going to happen with the song.
There's a shorthand with like a certain kind of guy at a certain age. Like we
Yeah, you did a shorthand job in the middle of it too.
Yeah.
You
It was
mimed
quick
it.
and easy.
No, it was so funny. What was it? What's the shorthand?
Well, it's just that there is a shorthand with like, like we grew up in the same place. But you know what? I've got Australian friends that would do the exact same thing. We would have been in the exact same position. And so I think there's a certain age, which, like I'm 40 right now. And I think Matt's like 37, something like that. So it's like there's an age range where there's like a little bit of a backlash against like bro type culture things where like if you did anything, if you got close to another guy, then that's
Just go all the way.
well, no, it's like no,
Yeah.
it's just like if other people like the generation right above us or just a few years older would be like, oh, that's what you guys are doing is gay.
Yes, my dad was like, "This is really gay," but I'm like, "No, this is how." In the late 90s, 2000s, like boy schools just
we go
fooled
the
around
other way.
like
We,
this.
we don't care.
Yes,
we don't
lean into
consider
it.
it. We're just like we do. Matt and I do love each other. Like
Yes.
at least I love him. I think he's one of the greatest things going. So there's no insecurities about the way we look.
Yes.
There's no insecurities about what we're doing. Like, if we're dating sisters, like it doesn't even dawn on us that other people would look at this and be
It
like,
was so
this
funny.
is what.
But my dad's reaction was he was just sitting next to me and he just was like, do they work on this? Like, is this for you? Is this like almost
Like a
like a
birthday
wedding
gift?
performance,
Yeah,
like a
like-
wedding dance that they secretly
Like,
planned?
no, all straight men, when they get a little loose, they know when they see a phallic symbol, you get on your knees and you suck it. Or you pretend to suck it.
No, but don't you guys know? Haven't you noticed that there is there are certain guys that would shy away from anything
Oh,
that
yeah.
could even have
Because they're probably gay.
the little bit. No, I also think it's because they like don't. I think it's just a little bit older than us. They just think that that's really weird. Whereas like my friends use, people used to use gay in a bad, like they would be like, oh, that's, when you're young, some people would be like, oh man, that's gay. And
Until
it's a bad
Hillary
thing.
Duff did that campaign, and then we all stopped.
I don't know what that is.
She did like a PSA that was like, these two girls were like shopping at Forever 21, and Hillary Duff is like nearby overhearing them. It was probably like 2004 she did this, and they go like, oh my God, that's so gay. And she goes, I just want to say, what if I said something like, if I didn't like something and I said, wow, that's so the girl in the red shirt that's standing in front of me right now. How would that make you feel? And the girls were just like, whoa. It was just like
Hillary Duff saved the world.
she
Essentially,
did. And did you remember ever seen those paparazzi shots of her giving her husband a blowy when he proposes?
I just remember she's the first.
That was so invasive, but I loved them.
She's the first person I noticed that had those big, huge teeth that were like brand new.
I didn't know where that was going.
They came out of nowhere.
It's not
Big,
expecting teeth.
Huge. I was like, teeth.
Remember that she got her teeth done, and all of a sudden it's just
Yes.
like that's
I know.
okay
Oh,
to do.
those
was-
aren't the originals?
I was zooming in on Taylor Swift's teeth last night on Instagram, and those are some veneers.
Really,
They're so good now. I have nothing against people who get veneers. I'm not
Everybody.
calling anyone out. I'm just
Duff
saying.
was early in the game,
yeah.
and I think you could
Yeah.
tell.
Well, I think there is also like women also have this kind of there are certain things that we do that maybe you go like, where the hell did you learn that? Like Anya does it a lot. I see where you'll go like if you ever get into it like a dancey, sexy mood when we're backstage just hanging out, like you'll like slap your ass and go like up it, like you'll do like a stripper kind of. Do you know what I'm talking about? You kinda, like,
I did not know I do this. I'm proud of myself. Oh, wow.
like, you know,
I just do that
there's little
alone in
poses
the wings.
that will hit that we learned from Britney Spears or like I don't even know, but like do you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
see Chris? Do you ever notice things when you're around a bunch of girls where you go, or I guess my friends. I think that
No, I admire you and your friendships. Like I think you have the coolest friendships that I currently know about. Like you growing up with your goofy girlfriends reminds me of the nerds we used to make fun of in school. I'm just kidding.
you sound like Mercedes, goofy.
What?
Oh, from F Boy. I don't know if you saw that episode, but he overused the word goofy. Just kept calling this guy goofy over and over.
Oh yeah, he's one of the guys on the show.
The black guy that is the one that you think we haven't watched the finale yet, but Chris thinks that Mercedes is going to Louise is going to pick
Oh,
Mercedes
yes,
and that he is
yes.
going to keep the money, but he's not keeping the money because he's a good guy. He's just planning what's going to be best for him in the long run.
I think he is.
Oh, you have
I
not
think
watched the rest.
I haven't watched the first season.
Okay.
He seems like he would be the ultimate, like, the greatest F-boy of maybe that's ever lived. Like, he seems like he's perfectly suited
Yeah.
for
So
this
good
role.
that he'll marry her, treat her right, spend his whole life with it. Like,
It's the long game.
Yeah. Yeah, the real long game. Like, and then fuck her over in the will or something.
That's the kind of guy
By that
he
point,
is.
he has $5,000. He's like, I got it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what you get after your, taxes on this game, even if you walk away with 50. We watched episode 8 and 9 last night of F-Boy, and we didn't get through 10 because we wanted to watch the rehearsal, the new Nathan Fielder show, and it's so good. But I do have to say, Chris is obviously an amazing TV producer, and everyone's a little skeptical about F-Boy Island. Like, what is this? But at one point, you turned to me and you were like, "This show is." What did you say?
Well, I didn't say this show. I said this is incredible TV. Like, we watched. It was like Nico, or is that his name? Nico?
Oh, you meant like that scene?
Yeah, I said,
Yes.
I was like, this is incredible TV right here.
Oh, yes.
Because there was
What
a
was
few
the
scenes
scene?
that were just
okay,
like,
sorry,
this is.
I'll take that feeling good about my show for a second back. You only liked one scene. I'm glad you made that clear.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were. Oh man, I thought we were going for accuracy on this thing. I thought this
it's okay.
podcast was about authenticity and the truth.
It is. It actually is. No, but you're right. I keep forgetting because the show itself is so just stupid. It's F-Boy Island that I'm like, I forget the things that I even witnessed where I'm just like, what's going to happen? Like, I didn't remember the mansplain, and I was like on the edge of my seat last night about it. It was great.
Yeah, there was some very compelling stuff, and it felt like it was a little bit out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're like, what is this thing that I'm watching?
What was about the Nico scene that made you say that, like, in particular?
Are there spoilers? Are we doing?
No,
are we nervous about spoilers?
I think everyone else. The hilarious part of this is I haven't seen the final episode. And I'm in
You'll
it.
spoil it for Nikki.
But I think most people have seen it that have.
I just like that rules would probably dictate that you couldn't do certain things.
Yeah.
And what's her name again? Tamaris, like, that she and Tom were clearly not right for each other. They set it up really perfectly where they were just like you knew she was into Nico, like, earlier in the episode, and maybe the episode before, she's just like, I'm just thinking about Nico a little bit. And you're like, why is she even talking about this? And
So you didn't see that coming?
I didn't see it. No, I didn't see it
I'm so
coming that they
glad.
were going to do the old switcheroo. But
Yeah.
I don't know the rules of the game. So I don't, I didn't know if Tom was getting
rules are-
eliminated right then. Like,
right.
I didn't really know what was happening. So when you offered for Nico
yeah,
to
you
switch
planted
places,
the seed.
Yes.
I was like, this is incredible, because in that moment she had to pick between those two guys, and they both thought they were safe for at least another day.
Yes.
And then it was obvious she was going to get rid of Tom. Poor sweet Tom.
Poor sweet Tom, chucking that ring into the ocean, slamming his fist on the table.
That was the best.
He broke
Did you
his hand,
know-
you guys.
I feel like Tamaris got the idea to bring Nico back because Nikki was like, God, I love Nico. He was so sweet. And he had already left at that point.
Well, the
and
thing
I
was,
feel like you
I
planted the
went
seed.
to the Good Guy Grotto to like film a bunch of sketches, and Nico was just like charming and fun, and I always liked him in the first place, and I didn't really understand why she sent him home, and I guess she sent him home because he got a little too drunk and he was defending an F-boy, and I never really saw that shakedown, so I didn't really get why he was eliminated because he just seemed so fun and good for her. And then when I was at the Nice Guy Grotto, I was just like, man, this guy is like, he should be on, like, he's a main character, And then I think the next day I went to the girls and I was just like, Nico looked pretty good. I was just kind of like, that scene.
I also love that, because I thought that, what if they're eliminating the guy that was, even that first night we watched, because I think we watched the first 2 episodes, I was just like, they barely even know these guys. One of them they thought was the greatest guy in the world the first day they met him. And then
Jared.
And then they immediately turned on him and were like, you're not good. And it was probably his fault. But then, you're getting rid of guys all willy-nilly.
Longhand for willy nilly.
Opposite of Arape. I want to hear that again and again.
Okay, yes. We'll talk more F-Boy. We'll talk more the rehearsal, and we'll just talk more about the differences between men and women when we get back with Chris Convy and Anya Marina after this. Andrew! All right, we're back. So yeah, Anya, have you seen, we're talking TV that we've been watching. Have you seen The Rehearsal with Nathan Fielder on HBO?
No, not yet. I'm going to get to that after all my cult documentaries. I
Man, he
swear.
is at it again.
It is so. Chris and I went
Does
through
it
all
make you feel
the stages
terrible?
of grief yesterday, like watching it, the emotions. I was like buried my head in his chest. Like we
It
both
was more
cried.
of a roller coaster than our relationship.
But does it give you the same Andy Kaufman feeling as his old show where you're just like, oh, this is so bad. I feel bad for all the people
Yeah.
he's like funking.
Yeah, but yeah. The other thing is there are, except for like, you know, they're getting something out of this in some way, and like I don't feel like he's totally using them outright.
Yeah.
You know, like there are people that are getting things out of it. Like one guy, and I think episode 3 really felt like he had a cathartic moment.
Yes.
That was real.
And
What's the premise of the show again?
the premise of the
rehearsing?
show is, thank you for asking, because people are probably like, okay, just if I'm not watching this, I don't understand. It is that Nathan Fielder has determined that there's so many things in life that he's a little bit on the spectrum, I believe. I think that's probably safe to say. And
It's gotta
as
be.
someone
Just a
who
little.
self-diagnoses on the spectrum, I can say I can self-diagnose other people or other diagnose.
I mean, can we talk about that at some point?
I did yesterday, but I'll get to some of those things because we should go over them now that we have Chris Convy here, who, you know, the 3 people who know me best in the whole world probably are here. But so the show is about, he realizes in life there's so many things that could go wrong and you worry about in these big moments, and it would be nice if you could rehearse for them. And so he asks people about things that they want to, you know, something that's holding them back in life, something they have to do and they're nervous about and they've been putting off. And he then creates a world where they can rehearse this situation to see if it actually is something they want to go through with, or if it's something that in what is the best way to go through with it.
And Fielder goes full. I mean, everything that
It's-
he does, he just gets all the details.
Yes.
He just dives in.
It's Veep levels of like the way that Veep writes every line must be a joke. I feel like this show, I just watch it. And as a TV producer, don't you feel like they squeeze every single bit out of they spun like everything that could be, they do.
Yeah, I feel like the commitment to the bit is insane. Like it's Sacha Baron Cohen. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Fielder is taking things to another sort of level for sure. And then the way that they're able to pivot, because it's real world, like it's real. They're messing with real people in the real world. So that stuff is unpredictable. It's not scripted.
Yes.
So if they liked the idea of this woman doing, going left instead of right, but she goes right, they've got to pivot on the fly, and they're brilliant at turning that into an opportunity to do something that's funny or
Yes.
cool or interesting, and they're just constantly pivoting.
That is such a good point, because that's why I like making reality TV, is because there's no script and I don't have to prepare for it, and you are making decisions on the fly, and it's like stand up in a way. Like I don't like preparation, as you know. Like I don't preparation H either. I just like to suffer, but I don't like to go over what's going to happen, and I don't like to look back on what's going to happen. I just like to go as we go and figure it out. And it's me being more lazy than anything and fearful of, if I try and I fail, then that means I'm not talented. But if I don't prepare and I fail, then I can just be like, well, it's because I didn't prepare.
Right.
But there is something about this show that I do love, that and you know what, it reminds me of how you are often reminding me, and how you really were in Montreal when we were together. Whenever something would go quote unquote wrong, Chris would be like, well, look what's going to happen now because of this. Like,
Right.
Look what we got because of this. And I was able, because you got me in that mindset that whole time, because I think you were really doing your best as
we
my
were
boyfriend to be like very supportive and keep me in a good mindset when I was there, because I was doing something I was nervous about, which is a crowd work thing.
Right.
And so you were so good at like getting me to think about everything's an opportunity, even failures, that this week I was really able to do that so much on my own.
Oh yeah, Oh, so you could get there on your own because you
Everything.
practice. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was something where I couldn't bring a friend to this thing, and I was like, I wasn't allowed to bring any family or friends to this thing, and I was like, this sucks. I have to do this alone. Like usually I get to bring someone, everyone else gets to bring someone, I don't, and I was so mad about it. And then I was like, oh my God, if I would have brought a friend to this thing, I would not have become friends with the people. I just made friends because I didn't have a friend. And I was like, that would have never happened if it went the way I wanted it to.
So you made friends.
Yes.
I love that.
This is such a Dale Carnegie,
over, guys.
like Wayne Dyer, successful person way of looking at life. Like all these successful people are like, every failure is an opportunity. You just have to see the opportunity in it.
It is, but I mean, listen, I'm not like some perfect optimist or anything, but
You were that weekend though.
But our flights were delayed, but we were together. Like we were either going to be together on a plane or together in an airport or together at a hotel. Like, so it didn't really matter all that much. So it was a bit of, it's those initial things are a bummer. But then we had such fun wins with the airlines employees.
Yes.
Because they were so great. I think Jeffrey and Jenny, maybe Jessie,
and Jasmine,
and
All
Jasmine, and Jazzy,
Yeah.
no Jazzy,
Jazzy, that's right.
And so we just had like a fun win with them. You got pictures with them. They turns out they were just talking about you in their break
They did not
room.
say what they were. It was like the Mitch Hedberg joke where he is at the airport and he's like, a guy goes, "Hey, I saw you on TV last night," and he was like, but he did not say whether or not he enjoyed my performance. And so I turned around and so I turned in a circle and I said, "Hey man, I just saw you at the airport gate and you were okay." But that was sweet. They were like, she looked at she was like, "Oh, hon, yeah, I'll help you out." And she's looking at my boarding pass and typing things in. And she goes, "Oh my God, we were just talking about you in the break room," but they did not say what they were talking about.
No, but then Jeffrey did say something about, I think that was Jenny, but Jeffrey did say that he loved you.
And he said his wife loved you.
Right.
And he wanted a picture with Chris because he was like, "And my wife really loves you."
So he loved you.
Tell that bitch to watch it.
Hey,
And then
so
our flights were delayed and delayed. And then we ended up getting
from the
to the hotel, which wasn't our hotel. And if we would have gone to the right hotel, we wouldn't have seen the funniest person alive.
Rachel Feinstein.
Yeah.
Yes. And Nick Brazow.
So
Shout
wait,
out to
when
Nick. He's
you
probably
left,
listening.
great.
Chris, when you guys left Canada, your flight was, you were on a different flight. Like you had another mishap.
Yeah,
it was
he
a
got
little-
stuck
those
in Canada. And again,
Let me ask you this.
Mr. Optimist, like
But
I
wait,
was
let me
so
ask you this.
distraught.
Let me ask you this. Let me first ask you this. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Chris. This is what my dad does. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? I'm gonna
Oh
ask
my
you
God,
this.
you're giving me your
Isn't it
such
so
your
annoying?
dad energy that I feel like you're gonna walk into my room and ask me if I want pizza when
Do you
I'm
want a
having
pizza?
a nap in 2013.
God, I remember that.
It drives me crazy. But when you are stuck in a difficult situation and Nikki's not around, does your EP showrunner energy go away or does it come back? Like, are you able to counsel yourself in that moment, or are you only able to do it when someone needs counsel?
I think
GQ.
I think that's a great question, and it takes on a different form. But Nikki and I were talking about this, like, there's something about being observed or being around other people. Like Nikki can work better if she's around other people because it's being sort of like witnessed or she's being held accountable. And I have a little bit of that too. Like I'm probably my best self in those situations with people that I care about.
Yes.
Because it kind of gives you an opportunity to like have the right mentality and think about it from a different perspective. But when it is just you are a little bit, maybe just a little bit more annoyed, and then eventually you get there where you're like, oh, well, this is okay. And like,
Man.
I was either going to read a book here or read a book there. And, it just depends. If you miss a flight outright, like if we miss the show and
But that would be its own, it would be okay. I mean, when we're talking about things like the death of a child and being like, well, something good will come of it, that's where we get into some tricky areas.
Well, they call that toxic
Right.
positivity. And I try to avoid that sort of thing. So it's like
TP.
toxic positivity is when people, they come to you and they say, this thing that happened made me sad. Like, anytime where you have something, like stuff with your voice or things where if I was just like, this will lead to you, becoming this amazing whatever, you'd be like, okay, can I just be sad about like
yes, that's like
me having to like
you
affect my
trying
schedule?
to deny my
Yes.
sadness when really you just like you have to grieve. You have
Yes.
to. It's okay to feel sorry for yourself sometimes, and then just knowing. Or not even knowing, but leaving space for the fact that something might happen that you don't know about. and that you can't
Yeah.
predict out of this. But when you were just saying this yesterday on the Waking Up app, I get these. Do you ever do Sam Harris's moments on that where he just
No, I haven't done those.
there's these little like they'll just get sent to you every day.
If I listen to any more Sam Harris per day, they're going to send me an email being like, "Hey, you need to back off."
Yeah,
They're like, you're consuming more Sam Harris
I know.
than any human should.
It's hard to parse this, but that's a word. If you start using the word parse a lot,
Yeah, parse. Or if you're like, that sort of thing is sort of siloed, and you're like, all right.
oh
so-
yeah, or equanimity.
Yeah.
Wait,
these are
he
all
says
words.
siloed?
Yeah, he says.
Is that
siloed
where you
sometimes.
take your feelings and
best
put it in a
words.
grain tower?
No, it's a little bit like that. But I do think that
Wait,
there
but
is.
can I
I
just
do
say
try.
my moment thing?
but can I
because
say
it's
my
the
thing?
same thing.
But I'll
Yeah.
say no,
yeah.
you go.
Okay, let's say it at the same time.
Yeah.
No, but the
So what
moment
I was saying
yesterday
was- And then
he
what said
said-
I?
oh, don't
the
do
thing
this.
about
Oh
it
my
was-
god.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
No, the best thing was it happened yesterday. It was the moment that I listened to, or 2 days ago, and he said a great practice, and I think this is stoicism too. When I was getting into that, it was throughout your day when you're doing something like making coffee or just walking your dog or doing anything throughout your day, or maybe doing something like writing a song or doing a podcast, or maybe things that are mainly alone that you're not like performing. So maybe just whatever, making your bed. Imagine that the person you respect more than anyone in the world, whether it be Oprah or fucking Adele or, God, essentially, or, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Alonso Fernando.
You're really close on most of those.
fuck.
No, Alonso Fernando.
just
That's two
making
different
up
people.
names.
But it's Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso. Imagine they're watching you. Imagine your life as, and that's why I like, if you always imagine someone that has a really high moral character that you look up to as like they would do the right thing. If you just imagine throughout your day and try to just splice that in that they are watching you, you will do what's right.
Well, yeah.
It will hold you accountable in this way that when we're just not being watched.
And that's what I get to when any of those things happen to me alone. Back to Anya's question, is it takes you a beat to look at yourself as a different entity.
Yeah.
And and what would you tell, like if you were freaking out about flight stuff, like what would I say to you?
Yes.
And if I'm sitting there being like, oh man, this is terrible, then you start to treat yourself like a person that you really care about, that you want to soothe.
Yes. That's why I think, in 12-step stuff, so much about like recovering from things is like, you got to give it away too. And you got to help other people. And like whenever it's so hard to do when I'm like really depressed, but like just going and picking up litter or like holding a door for someone, texting my mom to be like, how are you? Just reaching out and doing something that isn't about my thing right now.
Right.
And like helping someone else helps you help yourself in
Yeah.
some weird roundabout way.
I'm at my best when I help myself. But Anya, what about you and Matt? Like who is a person that tends to pick the other person up a little bit more, or somebody that is like gets really down on something that just happened or a mistake that they made and the other person has to like, or is it 50-50? How do you
He's-
guys handle it?
GQ, he's great at picking me up. By the way, GA on yours too. When I'm down, he's amazing. He's so level-headed.
Yes.
He's like wise. He sounds like someone
Tour
that just
manager.
meditated for an hour. He's like so even-keeled. But when stuff happens to him, I'm like, dude, and I'm not allowed to say anything, because if I were to tell him the stuff he tells me, he flips out. He'll be like, how can you say this?
Everything
I
is a
cannot be
mess.
silver lining girl. And
Right.
that's who I am at my core, is silver lining girl. And I need to be careful of that so that I don't do the thing you were just talking
so
about
tricky.
skipping the step of like
Because
breathing
I-
and feeling your feelings.
When I'm going
Yes.
through depression, or I'm having one of these days where it's like, I hate everything. I hate the way I look. I hate my career. Everyone hates me. I'm not talented. Like having those really bad days that are about like 2 days before my period, I will oftentimes reach out to all three of you actually. And like and a lot of times I know that each of you have been like, what do you want to hear right now? Like what is it what do you want right now? And it's really tricky because I remember when I was in the Hamptons, my friend
Where life is
Kat,
really hard.
where life is like really I got really depressed in the Hamptons. I was just around I was having body issues. I was around too many women whose bodies I was jealous of, and I was I was in this beautiful house that I was like, I could never decorate a house. I was doing a lot of comparing and despairing. And it just synced up with my cycle. It synced up with some personal things that I was going through that week that may or may not have to do with the person on my left. And, this stuffed porcupine or Luigi. And, and I was just having a really bad day. And I was saying really dark, like fucked up things to my roommate who I was rooming with, Kat from Colorado. Kat is a social worker, like, clinical therapist, and I was saying things trying to get her to like help me, like I was saying like I'll probably have to just kill myself one day. Like I say these really fucking dark things of like I don't even know like what I want to just quit life, like just saying dark things to just try to get her to like I honestly don't know what I'm looking for in that moment. And I'm like, I'm not talented. Oh, this person's better than me at this. I watched F-Boy last night. I look fucking disgusting in that one scene. I was not even funny. This other person's funnier than me and they're not even a fucking comedian. And I was just shitting, and she wasn't saying anything. She was just like, yeah. And it was just, and I was
She's
just like,
can you Venmo me
you're
first?
a fucking therapist. Like, yeah, exactly. And I was just like wanting to like shake her. And then later on, I was kind of venting again in the car with a lot of people, and I was almost like maybe trying to communicate to her like, you're my roommate, and when I get in closed doors, like I can't say this to the group, but like I'm struggling and I need help. So I was kind of like trying to communicate that like I'm in front of more people, and she was like, I just want you to know that when I don't say any, she took me aside, she was like, I don't know what to say to you, and I'm just trying to like, I feel like you just need to like vent it, and I thought that's what you needed. And I said, honestly, Catherine, I don't need that. I need you to say the opposite of what I'm saying. I need you to be like, your thinking is, you're diseased right now. Like you have the flu of the mind. Like you're thinking that you're going to have the flu forever, but this is temporary. These thoughts are distorted.
Right.
You are on like, your brain is on drugs right now, pretty much. Like this is a temporary state that there's a storm right now in your head, and there's going to be clear skies ahead, and don't get stuck in this. And she was like, okay, thanks. I needed to hear what I needed to tell you. And Anya feels the same frustration. I know you do too, of like, what do I say to this girl?
No, I don't feel that way. We should read some of those those texts, because all of those things you brought up to Catherine, you brought up to me as well.
Yeah.
And we went through, I mean, I think I go through line by line all the things you always talk about.
Yeah.
I remember the celebrity who you thought was really funny.
Oh, it's changes every day.
And she's not a comic. Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. I feel burdensome in those moments because I am in such a state that is not to be reasoned with when I'm going through that.
Right.
That I feel like if I'm always like thinking about how I'm already feeling sad, and then I'm feeling sad that I'm putting the people I love in this position of like a no-win situation. Like anything you say, like it does. Your stuff does get in because eventually I like calm down and it seeps in, and I can go back to the text and I can remember what you said. But I do think that sometimes I don't know what I need. Right.
But for me, it's like, it's pretty clear that you need somebody to listen at times, and sometimes to listen. And then, some of the things you come up with are so wild and not true. Like it'd be one thing if it was just a feeling that you had. And it's hard for me to say like, well, you can't feel sad, because I wouldn't do that. But if you say like, this person is so much funnier than me, that person works so much harder than me, this person has so much more talent, those are pretty easy to refute, or to say like, well, she's amazing at this, and that's so different from what you do.
Right.
And there's room for so many people to be amazing at what they do, and you're up there. Right.
No, and I always tell you this too, like the reason I go to you three is because I respect your opinions about things. Like I can't go to my mom, or like there's a lot of people that I'm friends with that I don't really respect their opinions of like the things they watch and enjoy, and like the level of entertainment that the bar for their level of entertainment. And Anya, we'll forget the fact that you were watching some shit this week, but like you guys are artists and you have good taste in things.
One of my favorite things, because Nikki will go through some sort of a crisis because she's exposed to so much, being on TV and all these things, that there's semi-regular crises
yes.
to like fires to put out. And Anya, what I always love is when Nikki and I are talking about those things, and I'm trying to be there for her and listen and tell her how I feel about those things, is she'll throw in something that you said, and I'm like, man, Anya's got some great advice.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what that is, because I feel like I relate to this idea of what is the right thing to say. And I've learned it is a great thing to say sometimes to certain people, what would you like? Do you want feedback or do you want a sounding board? And then a lot of times people do just need a sounding board. So what Catherine's doing,
but a lot of times
is
people
a sign of
don't.
a great therapist.
There's sometimes when people say, "What do you need?" and I'm just like, for me, I feel like I'm asking someone to run a marathon next to me sometimes.
Yeah.
And even though you do it, and I feel like a burden, and I feel like even though you're good at it, and obviously you're good at it, you wouldn't be in my life. Like I can't keep people around who can't handle my depression and like help me through it. And you know that I feel like you're the best at that. And I've told you a million times like how much you get me out of those things. And
Right on this podcast, though, what you said earlier made me think that you don't think what Anya and I are doing is like necessarily effective.
no, that's not what I'm
or
saying
that
at all.
Or that we're like implying that maybe we don't know what to do in those situations.
No, I'm saying it's not that you don't know what to do. You figure out what to do. I'm sorry that that's how it came across. What I'm saying is, and Anya, do you think that I was saying that, or I was trying to say it would be hard to listen to me sometimes and come up with what to say, and like
Gotcha.
that it's just
Yeah.
it would
I
be
agree
hard
with
to
that.
figure out what to say, and I'm not saying
Sometimes
that because
it is hard for me.
yes,
But
I would say
I'm
that Anya
learning-
struggles with it a lot.
Yeah. I think with Nikki, especially lately, in the last couple of years, you need to get it out. You need, and if I were to refute every point, I'd be so busy, like trying to focus on each. And so often you just need to like let loose and erupt all the stuff. And then I'll try to reflect back. What I'm hearing is you sound really scared, or you sound really alone. Talk about that, or sounds awful, or you sound angry, or whatever it is, just to let you get it out. It's like 37 things that you're
And
threatened
then I will
about,
try
but
to-
at the core you're threatened.
And then I'll try to like argue like no, but it really is
If
this
I
way.
start sparring with you, I'm like, oh, I'm
Right.
signing up for an hour and a half of a battle.
Yes.
There's no point in battling you.
Right, that's what I'm
'Cause
talking about. It's
You'll
like,
be
I
like,
get
that's not
obstinate.
true.
Yeah.
Like I will lose your fight because part of your brain is it's like intent on winning, and there's no reasoning with it. And I'm not saying it's right, like, but your brain will think, no, I've got the perfect argument.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm not arguing, but that person is out of their mind right now and not helping Nikki. So I'll just be like, that sucks, dude, to want to like, to be jealous of this person right now. What do you need? What do you need? And then she'll write like 17 more things about other stuff. And then I'll be like, again, what do you need? And we don't even need to get around to it. But sometimes you'll be like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I love you. My sister's here. I got to go. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, everything's fine all of a sudden. All of a sudden, it's like that never happened for Nikki, but it did happen for us.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's tough. Like, that's why it's tough. It's like,
Right.
I would resent a person that constantly did that to me. And like, what I am learning from reading this fucking book about autistic women, and like, I do overcome things and change my mind about things on a fucking dime. Like, it's not because it wasn't how I was actually feeling in that moment and I was just trying to get attention, and now I got my attention and I'm good. I feel better, and so now I'm ready to, it's the Glaser exit.
Yeah.
I'm ready to just,
Right.
let's go on to the next thing.
Right, but
Done.
Anya,
You
do you ever
needed
feel
to
like,
off gas.
and maybe you're better at this, Anya, because you've lived with Nikki and had it longer. But when Nikki moves on from goes from 100 miles an hour of sad, despair, angry, whatever it is, and then 5 seconds later she's totally okay, but you were riding that emotion with
Yeah.
her. Has that ever kind of affected you where you're like, whoa, I'm a part of this now?
That's what I'm talking about.
Right,
That's
but
hard.
that wasn't really what you were saying earlier.
Right, but it's like, I guess I was just saying, it's just not that it's hard to come up with what to say. It's just hard to come up with like, what the fuck was that?
Right.
What is this? What is any of
Right.
this?
Yeah, that exists. Like, what, now that you mention it, like, what is this moment that you have? It's something
Right.
that is sort of new to our relationship.
Yeah.
This like big blow up moment, and then moments later, like everything's totally fine.
Yeah,
I've had that
a lot.
moment so often with her, Chris, and I totally get it. And there have been times where I've been like emotionally exhausted, and I'm like, I'm so in it with her. I'm running this marathon, and then it's like, oh my god, my parents just pulled up. I have to go by, and that's literally happened. And then I'm like, like wait, I'm not done yet, and I didn't say anything.
You get a text an hour later, and she had the best time ever with her family, and everything's fine.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
then what I've learned is like, it's on me to manage my level of
Yes.
intensity. Am I ready for a marathon today? Most of the time, no. And B, am I really like, I don't think she really needs someone to run a marathon with her. She just needs a witness. So that's what I'm doing now. And then I can conserve my energy so that when she does, when it's like, oh, Lauren's here, I got to go by. Then it's like, okay, great, I love you, bye. And then my energy is not depleted.
that's what
I've
you've
learned
learned
the
to do
same
that
thing.
too.
You know, like all the little panics and stuff happening in Montreal. You know, some in the past, I would be giving parts of myself to Nikki to rebuild her happiness and joy. And I've learned that I
Yes.
can't give those things. You know, I can be there for her in a different way, but I can't get on the ride with her. I have to be,
Yes.
somebody has to
Well,
stay
you're not
off.
tall enough. Okay, we have to go to break.
Set her up for that.
We'll come back with a little fun game that Noah has whipped up for us. Thank you guys for getting through that therapy session with me. That actually felt really good to hear you both talk about what it's like to be an intimate friend of mine, you know, partner of mine in this world.
Yeah, look at us now.
Thank you for doing that, and I feel a little bit narcissistic to be like, talk about what it's like to deal with how hard it is to be
No, it's
with me,
great.
but it
It's
was
a
helpful for
support group.
me to be a better partner and friend to both of you as well, because I don't want to be burdensome, and I don't want you guys running marathons every day. I mean, Chris, you could shape it up a little bit, but actually, he's in amazing shape, and I really want him to stop because he keeps getting even more hard-bodied every time. We don't see each other for like a week, and then the next time we touch him, I'm like, are you calcifying? What is happening to you? You're turning into Groot. You're like a tree. Your arms are trees. And it's exciting. And there's a new guy every week that shows up.
New guy.
We'll be right back with the same guy and Anya and me and Noah right after this. All right, we're back. All right, so I'm here with Anya and Chris, my boyfriend, and we are going to play a game of Never Have I Ever. Just a classic game of Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
So Noah's got some Never Have I Evers, and if you have done it, you're going to tell us the story of what it is.
Yeah.
What's going on in your head right now?
I think I've done this today.
No way.
I think I've done this exact thing today.
On
I
your
have a
show?
few stories. Yeah, I think so.
What?
Yeah.
Chris?
Is scuba diving on there?
What?
No, it's not.
I'm sorry if I've already ruined the
You
premise of this.
played this game on
played-
your show today?
Today I
did
played
not
this
listen
one.
Oh my
to your
God.
show this morning.
I was actually going. I almost emailed you, Noah, to be like, "Hey, I want to play this Never Have I Ever game," and I was going to host it, and then I forgot to get it from Courtney, and so that.
Wait, if you remember the ones from your show and you want to pepper them in, we can do that as well.
Okay,
Oh,
then
yeah.
wait a second.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
hold on. Yesterday, I was texting with Nikki, and she said, "You're so excited. You have all these ideas and games, and that you would text me." So then I started thinking about like fun games that we could play, especially like icebreaker games, because I know you, but I don't know you that well. And I was like, you know what? Like Never Have I Ever came to my mind. I was like, that would be a great radio
That's
show
crazy.
game. And then you played it this morning.
Yeah, I was going to
This
do.
is nuts.
I was going to email you. This is insane.
You guys.
Look at this. And I felt
Never
like
have
Nikki.
I
was
ever
going to text
played
you.
a psychic game on the
Psychic game. Look at us now.
Yeah, no. Well, you're gonna be on the show tomorrow, and so maybe we can do some of those ideas that you were throwing at me
I
yesterday
felt
because
like
they
you
were
w-
so fun.
I felt like you weren't that into
Are
them.
you kidding me? I loved them.
Maybe it's because we didn't get to talk to it because you can't really talk or talk about them.
Yeah.
I was just like, I threw out ideas and I was like, these aren't that good.
No,
Nikki didn't seem like she
I
liked
loved
them that
them.
much.
I was driving and texting you when I was
Oh.
responding, but I freaking loved them, and I even told Noah about them enthusiastically, being like, "Chris is some great." I mean, didn't I
Yes.
say that to you, Noah?
Yes.
Yeah,
I've
I
literally
was psyched
forgotten
about
what they
them.
are now too.
Oh no,
Do you
there
remember
was.
any names of them?
It was
Sometimes
one.
I have good names.
Wait, you know what?
It was,
I already
uh,
know them. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait. Oh.
Oh, psychic.
You'll find out tomorrow because I don't know them off the top of my head. But there was both of them were great.
Okay,
and they were
cool.
already solidly formed.
Maybe we'll try them, but
right.
Noah's game is going to be even better.
Okay.
Okay, so the
She's
rules of
super
the
talented.
game I think everyone should have like a sound that they make to like chime in when they have done it so that they get to tell the story first. What do you think about that?
Okay, I like it. I'll pop out my Invisalign. Anya will do. That is coming from her mouth, everyone.
No way.
Oh wait, Chris, you can have this.
Oh, that's
Okay,
the
good.
just kidding button. Okay.
I can't
What
believe
does
this
it
too. I
say?
forgot I was going to bring my sounders in for it as well. And mine is a monster truck. I'll bring it in tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the rules of the game is I read something, and then if you have done it, you make your sound, your custom sound, and then you tell a story about the time that you did. Very easy. And then
Great.
if you've never done it, you just don't make a sound and we move on to the next question. So the first one,
Dead air.
never have I ever dropped acid. Okay,
Never.
great. We're all prude. Never have I,
I dropped it
ever.
on the ground when I said, "I'm not doing this,
Yeah.
you drug dealer." So I did do that.
You hit it
I
out of his
threw it on the
hands.
ground. Yeah. So I have.
I'm out of here.
Never have I ever accepted a drink from a stranger.
Yeah.
Oh,
Except for, I mean, it's easier for a guy to say yes, but yeah, of course, everybody here has. There's no way that you haven't, that everybody here hasn't.
Yeah. If you've been to a wedding and they go, "Would you like a,
Okay,
This?
yeah.
do you remember a specific moment?
I was doing the turkey trot, and there were people on the sides of the road that had a bunch of little Dixie cups of water, and I fucking accepted all of those.
Yeah, you took them all.
I don't have
Okay.
a good one.
No, I don't have a good story for this.
Oh, also, when I was at a wedding with Chris, they had these little Austin's wedding. These little adorable like minty chocolate like cocoa drinks with little like barbershop pole straws, and I sucked it down and it had alcohol in it. It was the first time I had drank alcohol in maybe like at that point 6 years, and it coursed through my veins, and I was just like, and I had already swallowed, and I was just like, Nikki, just enjoy this because like you can't stop it. Don't fight it. Don't hurt yourself about it. Don't be mad at yourself. You didn't mean to. It doesn't count. And just have it.
And just have 5 more, and then everything will be fine.
I had an oyster shooter in Canada, not knowing it was soaked in vodka, and I was feeling incredible. It wasn't, I ordered it, so it's not the same thing, but it's an ancillary tale.
But the waiter was a
And,
stranger to you. When he handed it to
True.
you.
And I read it on the menu. It said oyster shooter, horseradish, clamato, oyster. It was at a fancy restaurant that just would list like fennel, basil, artichoke, like that.
Yeah.
No vodka infused oyster, no mention of it. And I had the most incredible time at dinner. I felt warm. I felt sexual. I was giggling. And then I'm like, there's vodka in my veins. Like I'm telling you. And then my boyfriend and his mom were like, no, there's not. Relax. And I thought about it for an hour. And then upon leaving, I asked the hostess, I'm like, is there vodka in the oyster shooter? She's like, no, it's just, oh yeah, the oyster is marinated in vodka. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought.
You didn't take, but
And
that's
I had
how
an
bad
incredible
oysters
time.
are, that vodka and like oysters are not good. People that eat them, like there's just the fact that you did it, and anything you have to shoot is not taste good, by the way.
Get it
That's
down.
why you're shooting it. So why are we even consuming things that don't taste good?
Because it's all to just, people are taking shots. They aren't doing it because it tastes
But
good.
why oysters? They don't get you fucked up unless they're soaked in vodka. Like, what is the appeal of something that you shoot that doesn't get you fucked up?
I never understood why you would shoot food.
But,
Like you should be
why,
chewing
then?
it.
Why did you
Yeah.
order a
Oysters
shoot?
are gross.
Did you chew on
I
it?
chewed it, yeah, and it just sounded like an interesting thing. And I hadn't had an oyster in a while, and I was like, I kind of feel like it. It's a fancy restaurant,
Gotcha.
delicacy,
Okay, lesson learned.
and it was amazing.
Isn't
I
it
definitely
weird,
thought
though,
about
that
booze.
you said you were sitting there and you felt warm, you felt sexual, you felt happy. That why would it? This is the same thing when I first had a drink of alcohol when I was in high school, and I felt all those feelings. I was like, why doesn't everyone do this all the time? Why? It's why? How
Well,
can we
talk to me
blame
27
anyone for
oyster shooters
drinking
later.
all the time when it does give you those feelings? Like you just listed things that none of those things are bad. Why would everyone not do that? Do you know what I mean? I mean, because it ultimately like ruins your life. But the first, like, if you think you can control it and you think that you can just have that feeling, why wouldn't you chase that forever and ever?
Well, that's what most people are doing. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's true.
most people we all know drink regularly, whether they have a problem or don't.
Yes, because they like that warm,
'Cause they
sexy, happy oyster
whatever that
feeling.
is. Yeah, I've never had it.
Try some Clamato with it. I'm telling you.
All right, next, would you ever? Whatever.
No, never have I ever been a maid of honor or a best man.
Just kidding.
All right, Chris.
Ben?
Yeah, for my brother.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that's probably it. Just my brother.
You've been
I was a maid of honor for my friend who had to get married young. She was pregnant, I think. And I didn't know that a maid of honor.
Does she have a
is
baby now or not?
She does. I don't remember if she was pregnant. If it was like a shotgun wedding, I think it was. I think she was.
Oh, you
pregged.
love shooting things.
I didn't know a maid of honor had any
Were
responsibilities.
you soaked in vodka
until-
that night?
Yeah, pretty much. That was during my drinking days. But I remember like at the wedding when I flew out or she flew me out. I was such an irresponsible friend. And I got there and it was like, oh, they have a limo and she had her mani-pedi done and all these friends were there and everyone was giving her gifts. And it occurred to me, I'm the maid of honor. I should have gotten like organized a shower and given her a gift. Like I have
she needs to ask you to do that. No.
I did
No one is
nothing.
born knowing what a maid of honor should do. You got to be told.
All that wedding
At
etiquette stuff to
21?
me is exhausting. I don't want to learn it. I don't want to think about it.
Ugh.
I just knew I had to like do Tim's bachelor party and stuff. I did some fun stuff,
Yeah.
but it all feels so exhausting, especially what the maid of honor has to do. That stuff seems
I was,
wacky.
So grateful when Kat, my best friend from Colorado, the one that didn't help me in my room in Hamptons. I was so happy when I was not her maid of honor when she got married because I didn't want those responsibilities either. And my sister got married just like shotgun and I was out of town, and so they were like, just don't worry about it. Like we're just doing it in the park real quick. And then they just had a reception party. So I never had to do that for her. Like I would gladly do it for any of you, but I also
true.
know that you guys would not require like the kind of maid of honor stuff that most women do.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't think I want that at all. Would you actually do it for us? If I was like, Nikki, will you be my maid of honor? Because your voice went
Yeah.
up to a different.
What are the things you would want?
I
though?
think when you lie, your voice goes up because she's like talking like this, but I would definitely
it was
do it for
excitement.
you guys.
I would totally do it. I would be so honored. But then,
Really?
me and
okay,
Maya
then
would
I'm
be
asking you.
No, you're not, because Maya's gonna be it. You have a sister. That's why if you want to be a maid of honor, don't be friends with girls with sisters, because you're not gonna beat
Really?
them out. Yeah.
But
I
are there
don't even
things-
know that you're supposed to ask your sister.
Come on, girl.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
And also, China would be much more. Would be so hurt that you didn't ask her over me.
I'm
And
already stressing
That's more
about
important
my
to China.
non-existent wedding.
The thing about being a bride,
Yeah, both these bitches are engaged. And do you even? Who's your maid of honor, Noah? Do you know?
I don't think
Your
I want
sister?
to put that responsibility on anybody. It's already like enough trying to even start
good
planning a
girls.
wedding.
What is with us? We have too much guilt. Like we should be enjoying
Yes.
this time.
You just don't want you don't want all the attention on you. You feel like it's indulgent. You feel like,
Yes.
and you're older. You're not in your 20s.
Yeah.
You already know what like happiness is. You know what is fulfilling. You're not getting married so you can have a little party and a day where you're the princess. You're getting married so you can like have a
Just celebrate.
solidify this.
Yeah, just
Yes,
a
to
celebration.
celebrate. You're not doing it because you want attention, which a lot
How
of girls in
funny
their 20s
is the
are.
idea of a
And I do
white
stand by
dress?
my strong opinion. If I ever come back on your show, on a strong opinion day, because they do a segment called Strong Opinions, my strong opinion that I've said on the show, I am not going to your wedding, and I will not. If I do go to your wedding, just secretly know that I don't believe you're going to make it, unless you should not be getting married. I don't believe in marriages between if they're in their 20s. First of all, 20s, no. The only caveat that you can get married in your 20s, and I will believe you that you will last if you've been together at least 4 years. You need 4 years. You need to have seen at least one president's term together.
and
be in
one
your
Fast
30s.
and the Furious movie. Because if you don't see eye to eye on the Fast and the Furious, you're not going to see eye to eye on anything else.
Yeah. So that's my strong opinion, is that I don't believe your marriage will last secretly, and I will be like, congratulations, but I know you're not going to make it if you're in your 20s and you get married and you haven't been together for more than 4 years.
Oh, that seemed fair. My strong opinion next Monday,
Yeah.
if you're on an escalator
Okay.
and the escalator is over,
Okay.
get out of the way.
Get out of the fucking
Get out of the way.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
Same
there's not a
thing
time to
with
check
airplanes.
to check your passport. It's not a time for you to turn to your husband and say like, "Oh, which gate are we at?" Like, get out of the way first. Figure it out later.
Oh my
Anytime you
God,
check
did I
your
ever
phone,
tell you?
Get out of the fucking way. Pull off.
Yes.
At a
Yes.
rest stop in wherever you are on the side of the street.
In a bike
you don't
lane.
get to just stop when you want to stop unless you're getting news that your parents are like just died or something. Like that's when you could stop in your tracks and be like, and then, but otherwise,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of the way.
Get out of the way. If you want to look at your phone you're on the sidewalk and you think you need to stop,
to the
out-
side.
Step to the side.
Step into traffic. I don't want
I
you alive
believe
if you think you could just stop anywhere, you idiot.
You idiots.
People have this thing, I think it's a psychological thing, when you're getting off an airplane and we're all rushing to get off, we're dying to get off, we've been on the
Yes.
tarmac for 25 minutes. The second they get out into the airport,
they just stop.
stop, they check, they forget that we're all rushing. It's the weirdest phenomenon. What is
That
that?
is so true.
You're absolutely right. And like, you try to go to the left of a guy and then he's veering left a little and you try to, it is maddening. Get out of the way.
And
Yeah.
if you get passed because you're walking slow and I jolt past you because I'm annoyed that you're walking slow and maybe I'm in a bigger rush, don't be a little twerp about it and be like, well, what's up? If I don't touch you and I don't slam into you, or just let me pass without taking it as such an affront that means you're slow and lazy, which is all you having issues with yourself. That's your insecurity. I want to walk fast. I'm a fast walker, and I often won't pass someone because I'm so scared they're going to be like, okay, ma'am. I will just
Yes.
linger behind someone
Yeah.
because I'm scared they're going to be mad at me
But do you
because
have-
I make them feel slow.
When people are walking like 5 abreast at the airport and
I
like
heard it.
do you
5 breasts.
Yeah.
Wow.
It sounds like a Total Recall.
I was going to say, but I couldn't come up with a boy movie. I was just going to say boy movie.
Anya, do you have a strong opinion on anything that
Wait,
you
5
want?
abreast. What are you going to say?
I'll forget about it.
Oh, that.
I just want to share a story about being at the top of an escalator, and there were these tiny little people there, these tiny little Jewish people with like 7 plastic bags just at the top of the escalator at JFK. And I'm like, get out of the way, you little tiny Jewish people. And then I turn around and it's fucking Lou Reed
No.
and his longtime partner, Lori Davidson. Is that her name? Lori? Why am I not remembering her name?
I don't know.
That's okay.
But the
Famous
chosen people can
performance artist.
they can go
Yeah,
wherever
you
they
get to
choose.
pass.
You get to choose. As a
I
chosen
was like,
person.
I guess you really get to. I don't
right.
have any strong opinions yet.
Final thought. Let's do a couple more.
Okay.
Never have I ever.
Never have I ever played strip poker or any game that involves taking your clothes off.
Just kidding.
No way.
I have, but I don't remember. I know that I have. I know that I have. I just can't think of the scenarios, but I've definitely have.
I probably have wanted to before, but I didn't because I had on like a gross pair of underwear.
It also sounds like
Yeah.
something you and your like girlfriends would do together as like just something funny
We
to do.
were so naked in the Hamptons. It was insane because breastfeeding was going on. I just felt like it's time for tits out. It was just so freeing. I really think there's something about being naked that is not sexual that is like so empowering.
Is the show almost
Yeah,
over?
I
Have
was
you guys talked?
topless in the dining room for some reason. I remember like changing my tank top and being like, why would I leave the dining room? I'm just changing my tank
Yeah,
top here.
and these are all women, and my nipples are not sexual here.
Yeah, it was great.
Did you guys thoroughly explore the Hamptons? Did you already
We
do
did
all
a
that?
podcast in the Hamptons with all the girls. That
Oh.
was total
If
chaos.
that's
Okay,
a
well, that's great.
euphemism for our labia, then yes.
Not
I saw
everything
Hollis
is
Hamptons.
everything.
Did you guys get all your Hampton stories out, like on the podcast? Did you get to
We
tell
got a
all your
lot
favorite
of them
things?
out, but not.
Is there anything you wanted to know, Chris?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just asking because like I like hearing Nikki's like stories when she goes and does anything. So it's like I don't know. You guys brought the Hamptons up, and I was like, oh, I don't know if they
mean,
thoroughly explored
We
all
didn't
of that.
talk about the boat ride where
Boat.
Hala got I did not want to go on this. There's this amazing thing that it was like almost like a personal jet ski that you can go underwater and you just hold on to it and it
Right.
goes so fast and you're just like a dolphin. You're like, it's like you're on a dolphin's back, like what you should never do. Never go swimming with dolphins. Please don't support that ever, ever, ever. But so get one of these things. But I couldn't go on it because I forgot a swimsuit. Because I was supposed to go, whatever. I didn't have a swimsuit, so I was wearing bottoms that were just too big for me, so they were slipping off every time I went on this thing. And the guy that was our boat captain, I didn't want to be naked in front of a guy. Like, even though there was nothing, like, I was not trying to be he's gonna like want me if he sees my ass. Like, I just didn't want a boy to see me naked. But no one else seemed to care. Everyone was getting fucking naked in front of this guy.
Yes.
And I was like, I cannot, we are not married yet. And so I didn't get to go on the thing as the speed I wanted to, but Hala don't care.
Excuse me. It all started with
She was
Catherine. She was the trailblazer.
Cat
took her
was
top.
trailblazer. Cat is maybe, in my experience with my friends, one of my friends that is the most insecure about her body historically that I have known of my friends. Like up there with me in terms of like having people judge it or whatever. And this bitch lent me her swimsuit, and she also, I think, just didn't wear a swimsuit that day because she didn't know we were going to go swimming. And she was like, Nikki, can I just go topless? And I was like, really? And
Are we in Greece?
She posed on the front of the
so
yeah.
proud of her. I was so
She
'cause
asked
no one
all
had
of
been
us
naked
for
at that
our
point in front
consent.
of this guy. I mean, it wouldn't have been a big deal, and she had not even gotten naked in front of us girls like that yet. We had not seen her tits yet, and then all of a sudden she is fully topless in front of this boat captain, and I was just like, "Who is my friend? And why isn't she giving me advice?"
It was so cool.
I hope she hears this episode. She's gonna be so hurt. Kat, I love you so much. But I was so proud of her. But Hala got on this thing, and I don't think I've ever laughed so hard as like in like the past couple weeks, which means a lot because I laugh a lot. That was the hardest I've laughed probably on that trip was Hala. Just going buck wild, buck naked on that
You can
thing.
make it shoot out of the water. She literally shot out of the water. You could see her like bum come back in. It was so
Perfect,
funny.
perfect white neon, perfectly shaped hard buns just popping out of the water. And the best part was her face every time was like, "Can you guys believe this?
Please, someone do this. You have to do this. You guys do it. Nikki, come on, please do it." I'm like, Hala, I am not as free as you. I cannot do that.
It was so cute.
funny.
But our boat captain looked like an Italian Greek Jude Law. It was like, is this a movie? I'm happy right now. I should have taken my top off. But
I
kept
was
it.
not about to. I just didn't feel like he had a right to see that. Like, I just was like, this guy does not get to see.
He didn't care at all.
I know he was Italian, and so he probably didn't care, but I just felt too. For some reason, I was very modest.
I see the chests all the time.
I did the fight for the breast.
It's for the babies to feed.
I have olive oil coursing through my veins.
I love the pepperonis.
Okay, one more never have I ever, and then we have to G-O.
Okay. Never have I ever had a road rage incident.
Already told this story, but I'll tell it again. Portland, Oregon, pulling into a gym, 800 stupid cars in the middle of a fucking freeway. No one knows how to drive in Portland. I had just moved there.
What's
and
this,
they're
an
parked
escalator?
on
JFK?
Yeah, same issue. They're parked waiting to get into a gym. I'm going 40 miles an hour and like, what are these idiots doing? So I just go around them, pull into the parking lot around them. There are 7 or 8 open spots. So I'm like, I don't know what these people are doing. Waiting to walk into the gym. They're obviously not waiting for parking. And I take a parking spot. I get out of my car. An 80-year-old lady with white hair comes up to me and goes, "Excuse me, that's not how we do things around here." I don't know why she was British, but she was. And I said, "Are you waiting for parking? There's 7 empty spots. Go get a spot." And she's like, "You went around us. That's not how we do things around here."
Oh.
And I go, "Well, learn how to
go
fucking
back from where
drive."
you came from, lady.
It's
Get
okay.
Karen about
It's
it.
okay to say
When
that
it's a
to
Brit,
a British
yeah.
person.
And then we got into an altercation, and then she said one more time, "That's not how we do things around here in Portland." And I go, "Well, get a life!" Right in her face. I said, "Get a life." And I felt incredible for 10 seconds. And then I walked into the gym and went, "Get a life? What the fuck are you saying?"
It's so
To an 80-year-old
embarrassing.
lady.
It's like she's lived a fulfilled life. She's like 30 grandkids. And she's like, I have one, and it's
She's
awesome.
like, I'm Julie Andrews, and I've had quite an illustrious career. There is something about when you pop off on a stranger and like let out this rage that like you're so proud of yourself. You have that like Julia Roberts, like big mistake, huge moment. And then you walk out and you're like, that was embarrassing. Even though it was cool.
Yeah, if other people saw that.
Something feels gross about that.
Yeah, it's always unbecoming. I had like an altercation with a guy at the
thing
gym.
was the best story.
Yeah. I mean, it is not the best. It's
I
not
love
the best story.
Because the ending's
What
great.
happened?
Yeah, I don't even really remember exactly what I said to him.
I remember what it was. Yeah. It was in you had spilled some water or something.
Yeah, I'd spilled some water on the bench, didn't realize it, and he walks from across the locker room and grabs up one of those huge towels that people are using to dry off with, and he goes, "Let me get that for you," and just started like, doing this big exaggerated movement, that he was wrapping this thing up for him, and I was like, "Man, I didn't even see that. I didn't even," and he's like, "Oh, I'll just clean up for you around the gym," and I'm like, very conscientious of like not being in people's way or doing something that's like untoward.
We remember your strong opinion. Yeah.
Yes. And so I'm like, I was like, I didn't even know that was there. And he was like, well, why don't we all just clean up for you and stuff like that.
Ugh.
And I said something about being, I forget what I said. Do you remember?
It was something like, you had a good comeback for. I forget what it was.
This
but it
went
was
from the greatest story to a
but
terrible story.
It was a confrontation of like, you were just like, you know what, man? I didn't see it. You're acting ridiculous. This is a total exaggerated response to this little thing.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. This is a marbled surface. Who are you to police this? Like you let him have it in a really responsible, I think, like measured way, but it also like stern and like kind of scary.
And I think I was like, you are a, you're like 55-year-old man.
Yes.
Who is being passive aggressive to a person that had no idea he had done something wrong.
Grow up.
Yeah, I think I might.
You might have said grow up.
I probably said
and you
grow
said
up is a big one for me.
Which is the current version of
Get
get a
a
life.
life.
version of Get a Life. I wish we could. Can we erase that entire section out of the podcast? It was such a boring story.
No, it wasn't.
love
But the
that.
best part
I love
about
that.
the best part about it was that you saw that guy later on.
Yes. Oh, so I saw that. So I saw that guy like 2 weeks later or something like that, and I saw.
Oh, I remember there's signs all over the gym, right?
There's signs all over the gym that say, no gym bags, no chalk, all these things. And he was next to his machine. And so this guy's obviously policing the entire gym. If somebody spills something, it's on him to tell people what's wrong with the gym. So he's got his gym bag. I go up to his weightlifting thing or, whatever machine he was on. And I was like, hey, what does that sign say right there?
No way.
And I was like, oh, no gym bags, huh? And he was like, hey, man, I just want to say I'm sorry for what I did. He was like, I was out of line. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course, man. I was out of line, too. I was like, I probably shouldn't have been that rude. And we literally hugged on the gym floor.
Aww.
And now every time I see him in the gym.
And they start
On the
singing Say It Ain't
floor.
So.
What's
Wait,
that?
were you lying
You guys
down?
start singing Say It Ain't So.
Oh.
Sorry. Go back.
Sucked him off.
But every time you see him,
we talk and hang out, and we're like buds now. And we like talk about injuries. I'm like, how you doing, man? He's like, oh, man, my shoulder's all messed up. And I was like, yeah, man, my calf.
I loved that so much because I was so incensed by this guy when I heard this story. And I was like, oh, I hate this guy. I can't wait for the confrontation. And you telling me that you got to this moment where you got to call him out for the same thing. He's such a hypocrite. And to have it just be cut by being like, I'm sorry. It was the sweetest
Yeah, it was good.
thing. It was so hot to me.
It was
for
a
some
good
reason.
moment.
Yeah. Tomorrow I want to tell the story of what happened to me on the plane when someone was trying to airdrop me pictures and what I did in response to that. So stay tuned to
great
that tomorrow.
tease.
We'll be back tomorrow with Chris and probably my mom, but stay tuned and find out. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't be good and Jack Parr.